Incoming right there.
All right, so we're going to do another video in our land nav series. This week we're going to talk about pace count and the importance of it. All right, so we have a whole series of videos about land navigation using map, compasses, stuff like that. You can find them all in our video archive. This week, though, we are going to talk about pace counting. Why? Why is pace counting important? Well, you need to be able to determine the distance while traveling, all right? So, you need to go 50 degrees, you use the compass for that, but then you've got to go 250 meters or 1,200 meters, all right? So knowing 1,200 meters and not only going 1,100 meters, that would put you, over 100, it puts you 100 meters away from where you need to be. But another good reason to know pace count is, let's say you're going out to recover that cache. You've got that cache report, whatever, and like from this fence post, I need to go such and such azimuth for exactly 75 meters or whatever it is. You need to be able to know an exact distance, right? So how do you determine that exact distance? And there are different ways to do it, all right? You need to determine that distance, where it is that you need to move to. Again, map, you gotta have a cache report or whatever it is, but once you've determined exactly how far you need to go, the exact distance, then there are a couple of ways that you can do that. One is GPS. If you're at one, intersection of a field, or you're at that fence post, you're at that road intersection, whatever, and you've got to go across this big wide open field, okay, you can use a laser rangefinder, pick that landmark on the other side. You've got to go 1,300 meters, okay? The laser rangefinder tells you the predominant tree that's on azimuth is, so many meters away. Then you can just walk or drive straight there and then pick up your pace count from there, right? So using a GPS or a laser rangefinder, all right, that would allow you to do that. But what about when you're in an area where you're not getting a good GPS signal, or you're in a wooded area, built up underbrush, and you can't use that laser rangefinder in the dark, whatever? It's good to know your pace count, being able to actually count your steps, a distance as you're trying to move. And doing that, we call that pace count. All right, so how do you determine a pace count? Because you're not just saying every step is exactly 1 meter or 1 yard, depending on which one you do. It needs to be as accurate as possible. So how you determine it is mark out what we call a pace count lane. Level terrain, all right, we use meters because we deal with military maps. The military grid reference system is 1,000 meters. Squares on the map, so a lot of times that's just how the military does it. So we do meters when we do pace count, but you can do it in yards. But I have found meters works better for what we do. So measure out exactly 100 meters. All right, and then as you're stepping it off, only count with in the military, we always step off with our left foot when we're marching. So we teach to do pace count with just count your left step. All right, if you want to start with your right, that's fine, but always do it with just one. Be constant here. We teach left foot. All right, so you're going to count those steps going all the way, the 100 meters, and then we actually have you do it 4 times. Go up, come back, go up, come back. All right, and what you're going to find is you're going to come up with that number. Just average it out. For example, my pace count now is 57. All right, I'm sorry, 54. It used to be 47. All right, I'm much younger. I took longer steps. And now I'm old, just had a knee replacement, and my pace count now is 54. So 54 steps with my only counting left step, that will give me exactly 100 meters. Now, the better you get at pace count, the better, the more accurate you're going to be, right? So again, measure distances on level ground, all right? Set that lane up. The first time you learn it, do it slick, just with a map and compass, because that's how you're going to do a lot of your land navigation courses. All right, but after you get better at it, go and march it off again with whatever size rucksack you're going to be wearing. And what you're going to find is the extra weight on your shoulders, your steps are going to get a little bit shorter. That number is going to go from 54 to 57, 58. And then the more, if you find this is something you've got to do a lot, actually measure that pace count again with heavier gear, that big mountain rucksack with you carrying the sniper rifle. All right, but understand you're going to have to adjust this number when you're going cross country. You're going to have to adjust it while you're moving in the dark. You're going to have to adjust it when you get to obstacles, whether it's a stream or a fence or whatever. So instead of saying, well, I'm at step 33 right now at the fence, and then climb over the top of the fence, and then starting off at 34, understand that that fence at an angle, just, or that stream you're crossing, if it stopped at 33 at the stream, don't start with 34 on the other side of the stream, because it's 20 feet from bank to bank. You see what I'm saying? The better you get at doing pace count and adjusting those numbers, the more accurate you're going to be. Let's talk about tracking your pace count. What I mean by that is I've got to go 54 steps with my left foot to go 100 meters. How about if I had to go 400 meters or 500 meters? That, right, you understand? How about if I had to go 3,000 meters, right? So now I'm counting to, am I gonna do, let's see, 54 times 30? And you understand me trying to count to a number that high, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen when you're walking with that compass on azimuth, and all of a sudden you get a stick in the glasses, pow, or you trip over a log, or that rattle-headed copper moccasin decides to come sliver out in front of you. You're at number 1089, and all of a sudden you forget your number, and you're like, was I at 1089 or was I at 900? And you see what I'm getting at? You would be way off. Now what's your choice? Is you go back and start again? How are you going to get back to there? How far back do you go? Right? So it is imperative that you track your pace count, because the reality is you get tired, accidents, stuff like that. You're gonna have a hard time remembering it. So what do? Do you get a little clicker? Do you keep putting the number in your phone? Do you take a notepad, and every time your foot hits the ground, you're going to put it? The reality is, I guess you could do that, but understand I'm going to have a compass in my hand, probably rifle in the other one, and I'm just counting the numbers in my head. Right? So that's where pace count beads come in. Right? What I mean by pace count beads is little thing, you clip it right on the shoulder of your whatever vest you're wearing. You have any body armor, you can have it on the straps of your 3-day pack, your assault pack, whatever it is. And basically all it is you'll notice that there are beads on it, and these beads are for keeping count. Right? You'll have 9 beads at the bottom and 4 at the top. We normally go 4 at the top. And what they're for is, remember, I'm going to actually clip that on my t-shirt right there. All right, so I've got my compass in one hand, all right, rifle in the other, and I'm staying on azimuth. Now, when it comes time, I've hit 54, gone 100 meters. All I'm going to do is I'm going to pull down one bead, pull it down without tearing my t-shirt here, all right? And then when I hit 54 again, I'll pull down the next bead. Hit 54 again, I pull down the next bead. Now, if I trip and bust my ass, and I can't remember if I was at 36 or 37, it really doesn't matter. I'm somewhere between 300 meters and 400 meters. So the max I'm going to be off is 37, instead of me being off 400, 500, 600, 700, 1,000 paces. I'm not going to be off very much. Now, once you've gotten and you've done 800 meters, I move that one, 900 meters, I move the next one down. Now when I hit 54 again, I'm going to go, well, there's no more beads there. I'm going to go up top, I'm going to pull one bead down. That means that I have gone 1,000 meters, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to move the rest of those beads back up again. All right, I start counting again, pull one bead down, pull 2 beads down. All right, and so now if I want to know how far we've gone, I can go, well, I've gone 1,000 meters plus 2, I've gone 1,200 meters, right? This would be 2,000 plus 2, that would be 2,200 meters, all right? Now, one thing I want to point out is, see how that slid up and down, all right? There's a difference between homemade ones and store-bought ones. A lot of your, not all paste beads are created equal. This is one that one of my students actually made for me, and I put a lot of work in it. These are individual knots of 550 cord. He melted them off, got a nice braid to them, and they work very, very well. All right. Pull it down, they work great. 550 cord works good because even if it's wet, it's not gonna cause them to slip and slide because the 550 cord actually expands a little bit when it's wet. So 550 cord knots on 550 cord, okay. I want you to look at this one, all right? Now, see how those beads fell? Have I gone that many meters already? They're not supposed to fall, guys, all right? Now, these look pretty. They come in an expensive bag. You see these wherever, and that slides again. That shouldn't slide. You think I could keep count with that? Now, this is commercially purchased Chinesium, and I'm just saying not all paste beads are created equal. I prefer cheap that works. So what I use is, we have patrons make them in class and stuff. Loop of 550 cord that I can run through, you run it through the button at the top of your blouse or whatever, put it around the strap of your stuff. And all I do is I take zip ties. All right, you don't need the really big zip ties or really small zip ties. The ones that are rated for about 50 pounds work good. And then all I do is, I'm going to make sure I have OCD, so I'm going to make sure it's facing the same way as the other one. I'm going to tighten it off. Put that puppy as tight as you can get it, all right? And then all you do is take your wire cutter, clip it off, throw your trash away, all right? Now again, you want 9 down bottom and 4 up top. So simple paste beads, and there's no way that these are going to slide when they're not supposed to. They're very, very tight. And guys, I've got paste beads that I made in Ranger School, wow, back in '89, all right, that still to this day still work because they're made to last. They really are. All right, so again, don't just think buying them would be better. Sometimes homemade stuff just works better. That's just the truth. All right, so know what your pace count is. It's a very, very important part of land navigation, knowing what your pace count is, how many steps. Again, set up a simple pace count lane. You can do this at home yourself. All right, having that map, having that compass, having those pace beads, all 3 of them together are going to give you a much better capability, right? So learn and prepare now before it's too late. You know the deal. Got any questions, comments, leave them comment section below. Y'all take care and shoot straight. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter so you don't miss out on anything.